Good afternoon, mathematicians. Okay, those of you working in Math 2A, we are starting with polynomials today. Now, polynomials, there's a lot of vocabulary, so we're going to go over that today. I want you to look at this word poly. Poly means many. Poly means many. So there are many different ways that polynomials can be put together. And it's basically how we put numbers and variables together and how we order them and then how we actually do math with them. So a polynomial is an expression. Now when I say it's an expression, that means there is no equal sign. Notice that is different than equations. Expressions have no equal sign. And it contains terms. And those terms, like here's three terms, one term, two terms, three terms. Those terms can include a constant, a variable, or a product of a constant and a variable, that are connected by addition or subtraction signs. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure you understand the vocabulary and can name each one of these because we do kind of treat them differently based on what they look like. Now, variables can only have exponents that are whole numbers to be considered a polynomial. So you're not going to see exponents that are fractions, which is good. Okay, now, what we want to do here is our term. A term is any piece that is separated by an addition or a subtraction sign. So this expression, this polynomial, has 1, 2, 3 terms. Variables are our letters. So notice we have an x here and we have an x squared. These are considered different because this one has an exponent of 2. This one is just an x. It technically has an exponent of 1, but remember we don't write ones, so yeah. Then finally we have our constant. A constant is a number that's all by itself. So notice this number is sitting over here way on the right side and there is no variable connected to it. Constants are just the regular old numbers. So now that we understand this, let's go ahead and kind of sketch them out in vocabulary. And then I'll come around and kind of check in with you guys. So in our equation here, variables, let's go ahead and write variables. Variables are the letters in an expression. So m is a variable. If I have 3 plus c, notice that my variable is the c. My variable is the m. I can also have 4x plus 2. And then in this case, my variable is x. So variables are the letters in an expression. Now, coefficients, you have to remember this back from Math 1. Coefficients are the numbers in front of variables. So if I have 3m or I have 4c plus 10, my coefficients are the numbers in front, the 3 and the 4. Those are coefficients. Now, our next word is constant. Constants are the plain numbers or terms, including their signs. So if I have 3m plus 2, and then I have, let's do d minus 7. Now, our constant is going to have the number with it, or the sign and the number. There we go, plus 2 minus 7. Okay, so we have a positive 2 and a negative 7. And then finally, we have terms. Terms are separated by add or subtract signs. So I can have 3x squared plus 4x minus 2. And notice in this case I have 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms. Okay. So in this case I have 3 terms. Okay, like I said, a lot of vocabulary. Just make sure you're taking the notes. As we start to solve these later on, I'll be using these vocabulary words to help you understand the math. Okay, polynomials. We do have to make sure they are in standard form. Like they have to be written in a specific way so that we can work with them. A polynomial is in standard form. Go ahead and say that, standard form. When all the terms are arranged in decreasing order from largest exponent to smallest exponent. So we're going to take the largest number and write it down to the smallest number. Once a polynomial has been written in standard form, you can identify the leading coefficient. The leading coefficient is the number that's out in front, including its sign. So if we come back up here, the leading coefficient is 3. If we come up to this one, the leading coefficient is 5. It is the coefficient that's at the very beginning of our standard form. So 5 is our leading coefficient, 3 is our leading coefficient. In this one, 4 is our leading coefficient. And in this one, 3 is our leading coefficient. When you write polynomials in standard form, you can also easily identify the degree. The term, oh wait a minute, sorry guys, I just lost that. The is the largest exponent of the variable in the polynomial. Oh, the degree, there we go. The degree is the largest exponent of the variable in the polynomial. So I will kind of show you how to do this. These are our definitions. We're actually going to spell them out right here. So first of all, we've got to write it in standard form. Remember, standard form is largest exponent to the smallest exponent. So I take a look here. I've got, this one actually has an exponent of 1. We just don't write them. So my largest exponent is this x squared. So I'm going to write that first. 5x squared. Then I'm going to notice that that 6x is doesn't have a sign in front of it, so it's technically a positive. So I'm going to write plus 6x. And then I have a negative 4. Now my leading coefficient, remember the leading coefficient is the number out front. My leading coefficient is 5. And the degree is the largest exponent, which is 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Notice that I have, again, 3 terms, and I'm going to kind of circle them all with their signs, because that's going to help me move them. Now, in standard form, we need to have the highest exponent. Which one has the highest exponent? The 8x squared. So I'm going to go ahead and write that one first, 8x squared. Notice it's positive, so I just don't write positive, but it is. What's the next highest exponent? Yeah, the 7x, negative 7x, because it has an exponent of 1. Now I am going to bring that negative sign with it, negative 7x. And then the last piece I have is the plus 12. Now what's my leading coefficient? Remember, it's the number in the very front. It is a negative 7. Be sure to write the sign. And what is the degree of this polynomial? Remember, it's the largest exponent. That's right, it's a 2. Okay, go ahead and try the next one on your own. I will pause for a moment and then I'll write it out. Notice sometimes it helps to go ahead and circle all of your terms first, and then write them in order. Does yours look like mine? Okay, what's our leading coefficient? 3. That's right, it's the one in front of the x cubed. And what is our degree? It is cubed. Okay, let's go ahead and pause here, and then we'll make sure you get some practice in writing in standard form.